Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durban.
And I'm Rhapthorne.
And with us today is our special guest.
I'm Lionheart.
Because when we hit comic book movies and superhero stuff, sometimes it's just so big and it's so good. It requires more than just two guys who want to geek out about it, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, so today we are reading way too much into Captain America, Winter Soldier, building up that anticipation and excitement for Civil War. I can't wait to see Civil War.
It's
I'm
coming.
totally excited.
It's coming.
It's got to be better than Batman v Superman.
Right?
Oh,
Yes.
please.
It's got to be. I mean, just by the trailers, unless they've showed us
The
everything that's
trailer's
good.
given me more entertainment than Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
Yeah, but Batman vs. Superman pretty much gave us the whole movie. So hopefully, Civil War.
Yes. Yes. Hopefully the trailers have not given us the whole movie.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So today, we're reading way too much into Captain America, Winter Soldier. So, I don't know. I was watching this movie last night to get all prepared for this and all that stuff. And I had to write it down because I just thought it was so cool. So there's this one thing that popped in my mind. And it's that one place in the Bible where it says, we are pressed on every side by troubles, but we're not crushed. We're perplexed, but we're not given to despair. We're hunted down, but never abandoned by God. We get knocked down, but we are not destroyed. And so when I see that in this movie, like I feel like this movie is a great picture of that. Because when you go back to Captain America, the first Avenger, you have Steve Rogers, this little skinny kid, driven by purpose. And that purpose is fight for my country. When he gets the serum, his purpose is use this for good, fight for my country. When he gives his life for his country and he wakes up in the modern 21st century, he doesn't have long to think about things because the Avengers, aliens invade. So now he has a purpose, fight for the world. But now we get to Winter Soldier. What does he have to fight for? I mean, yeah, this movie, we get a plot where he fights, but we begin with what does he have to fight for?
Right.
What is his purpose? How does he even fit into this world? And I thought that was really interesting. So I feel like first we're dealing with his perplexity of how do I fit in this world? How do I even catch up to where this world is at? What on earth? I mean, he's trying to catch up on what Star Wars is. What, we landed on the moon? I mean, he's trying to figure all of this stuff out and where he fits in. On top of the fact, he joined S.H.I.E.L.D. because Peggy Carter, his best girl, founded it. That's why he joined it. He joined it looking for a purpose. And then what does he find when he gets there? He finds Samuel L. Jackson, sitting there saying, whatever. Captain America summed it up by saying, so what are you going to do? You're going to put a gun to everybody's head and call that protection? Usually the punishment comes after the crime. And now we have Captain America dealing with a modern world with philosophies that he's not even agreeing with. And this is what he works for. And so all these questions, all this, I kind of feel like if I was in his position, I'd be feeling a little bit of despair. Like, oh my, it's self-doubt. Like, what do I do? And then he gets his bell rung when he finds out Hydra is still alive. He died to rid the world of Hydra. But now they're stronger than they ever were. His best childhood friend not only is alive, but doesn't remember him and is now being used by the enemy against him. All of these things are coming against him now in this world. And that's why it's a picture to me of that verse, because when he hijacks that microphone, when he gives that huge patriotic speech about Hydra's here, but freedom isn't free and I'm willing to pay the cost, that huge speech that he gives, what that shows me is, though he was knocked down, he wasn't crushed. Though he was perplexed, he didn't give himself over to that despair. He kept his heart. He kept his mission. And he stood for what he believed in the end. And he didn't let any of that stuff disillusion him. He stayed on the path. And to me, that's just such an awesome picture of how when we let Jesus in our lives, about how he becomes that strength to keep us going. Because, that's what life is, right? It's one knock after the other. It's one disillusioning thing after the other. But one of the great things is when we have that relationship with Jesus, how he keeps our heart strong. And I just thought that movie was a great picture of keeping the heart strong no matter what trials hit.
Definitely.
Very good. Well, as you even said, just even in that relationship with Jesus, that's one scene that I felt this movie hit really, really, really powerfully on. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be a little vulnerable. There was just one scene in particular that actually moved me to tears. It's the end scene when Captain America's fighting the Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier is actually trapped under rubble and he's lifting him up, trying to bring him out. Then he just says to the Winter Soldier, you know me, and then he keeps fighting. But Captain America's resounding to not fight his friend, his best friend that he knows there. And he just keeps saying things. And I feel like in those moments, he's actually reaffirming his identity because, as you said, the Winter Soldier at this point has been deceived by his enemy, taken captive, and he's now fighting his best friend, which is what the enemy does. He deceives us into wrong thinking, and that's exactly what's happened to the Winter Soldier. But Captain America has stayed the course to not fight his best friend. He's trying to restore a relationship with him. And just, he's even saying, you've known me your whole life. Your name is James Buchanan Barnes. And the whole time, the Winter Soldier's continually taking punches at him. And this is the part that got me to tears, is when Captain America takes off his helmet and then just, he's showing him his face and even has his shield and says, I'm not going to fight you. Drops his shield and it falls out of the plane. And that's incredibly powerful because not only does the shield protect Captain America, keeps him guarded, it's his weapon as well that he's now given up. And if you think about God sending his son to die on the cross, what he was doing was dropping something that potentially protected him, opening his heart and saying, I want you in. I want to be in relationship with you. I'm not going to fight you. I want to be your friend. And that just moved me to tears big time. And even still, the thing that's scary about this is that the Winter Soldier continues his onslaught of Captain America in a more fierce way. And it's just like continues to hit him. And that's the scary thing about being vulnerable, is people could reject our heart. The Lord knew that when he took that risk and sent his son, that not all would receive him. Not all would welcome him too. I can only imagine just how that must feel for the heart of the Lord, but how much overjoy it must be that he says yes to him. And that's, again, why I got so emotional over this one scene, is because when he even says, when the Winter Soldier says, you're my mission, and then he says, then finish it because I'm with you till the end of the line. I'm like, I lost it at that point. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is incredible, because it's like the Lord saying, no matter what, I'm this committed to you. No matter how much you reject me, no matter how much I'm chasing after you. And it just shows just how much he's willing to try and bring us into relationship, that he's willing to lay everything down, because he did. He laid down his own son for our sake. And I just thought that was incredibly powerful, and it just perfectly showed the heart of the Lord towards us.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
So the part that really gets me is right after Captain America wakes up.
Yes.
Put this into context of being a new Christian. Okay?
Well,
Okay.
You've just woken up. We can think back and remember that time when we decided to give our lives to the Lord, and at that moment, it's almost like a veil is lifted off our eyes.
Wow.
So, Captain America was frozen for many, 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 many years. You can equate that to living in sin.
Yeah.
We're stationary. We're not moving. Without God, we're nothing.
Wow.
We're rocks. We're stationary. We're in ice. Once we give our lives to Christ, the veil is lifted, the ice is melted, and there's this whole new world that we didn't realize was there. This world of love, this world of compassion, of giving, that we may not have had in that sinful world. I know for me, in that sinful world, it was hard. I grew up poor. We fought for our meals like every day, like not physically, but you know what I mean? Like it was a rough time for us. And compassion and giving wasn't really something that I knew growing up. But after I became a Christian, it's crazy how you see all these new things that are there. And even with Hydra.
Yes.
That equates to, once you do become a Christian, it's like sin gets threefold stronger
Wow.
at trying to get at you.
Wow.
I can't even imagine, like, equating that to a physical thing, like Hydra. Man, if sin was like Hydra, ooh.
Cut off one head, two more grow back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
And that's sin. Like, once we feel like, okay, I've beaten this thing, once you beat that thing, it feels like two more things pop up that you have to battle.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is Jesus is always there with you.
Yeah.
He's right there by your side. He's never going to leave you. As Lionheart said, he will pursue you until the end. Till the end of ends. He's right there with you.
Wow.
So I tell you what, guys, if you saw Winter Soldier, let us know what you thought, and also let us know how excited you are to see Civil War in the comment section below. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing.
I'm Durban.
I'm Lionheart.
And I'm Rhapthorne.
Thanks for checking out Durbania. And thanks to our special guest
Yeah.
for showing up today and hyping it all up with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Later. Later.
What did I do?
I don't know.
When do we start? We just did.